Hello, how are you? I hope you are doing all right. This is a short video to let you know a little bit about the last unit of our elective course and some general indications about the project. Um, as you probably know already, I was affected by COVID-19 and that somehow impacted my performance. I was a little bit um, down with some symptoms. Thank God, nothing serious, but I had to take care of myself, and I was a little bit absent from some of the typical activities, such as, for example, making videos and trying to keep a close eye or a close contact with you. Last week, 2 weeks ago, sorry, I had the opportunity of talking to you a little bit in an online meeting, and now I have the opportunity of talking to you via this video. But I have also sent 2 emails. So although I have been sick, I have tried to provide you with information, with indications, and with updates. I am okay, thanks for those of you who have asked and shown some concern. I hope that you are also okay, and this video, well, will focus on what we have to do in the final unit. As you probably remember, we have already covered some of the units of our course. We had a welcome session, some materials. We talked about cyber ethics, concepts and theory in the first unit. In the second unit, or week two, we had the opportunity of thinking about professional ethics, codes of ethics, and moral responsibility. And after that, we started discussing some global issues such as privacy and security and cyberspace for week three. In week four, we have the opportunity of talking about cybercrime in general and cyber related crimes. Week five was an opportunity to talk about intellectual property, and you were asked to record a video response, a video reply using Flipgrid. I have already corrected and sent feedback. In case you haven't done it because of maybe some personal or some particular issues, please make sure that you do this week, because I had given some of you 5 days to keep up, to catch up, to check things that maybe you haven't done before, and that time is over. So let me know just in case. But this week, or this final unit, it's an opportunity to talk about digital divide, democracy, and work. Definitely the use of technology, the use of platforms, the use of computers, the use of applications. It's something that we all want to have in our classes, in our schools, but there are different factors, circumstances that impact to what extent we can make use of those tools, of those possibilities, of those alternatives. This unit, we are going to focus on how socio-demographic groups um, use technology, how social and political institutions seem to favor the use of these tools, of these possibilities, and how different social sectors um, are incorporating technology into what they do, into their practices, into their processes. Now, it is evident that there are different ethical and moral issues related to how socio-demographic groups, how social and political institutions, and how social sectors relate to technology and to the use of technology in education particularly. So we're going to have an opportunity this last unit of thinking about answers to these three basic questions. What do we mean by digital divide? Next, what obligations do we have to make cyber technology accessible to disabled people? And has the widespread use of cyber technology helped reduce racism, other issues related to discrimination, or has the use of technology exacerbate those issues such as racism and other discriminatory practices? So this is an opportunity, as you can see, to discuss bigger issues related to the use of technology. Now, in this particular unit, there are two possibilities, two activities, and you can choose from them. Activity 7, that is option 1, is a discussion forum. The idea is that you read this discussion topic, you answer a question that is provided in this discussion topic, and you elaborate an answer. Now, make sure that if you decide to participate in this option, in this activity, your answer has to be written in such a way that you show your thesis, your position, and you defend, elaborate that position with one, two, three supporting ideas and a concluding or closing statement. So make sure that if you decide that this is the option that you want to use, the forum, you provide a strong, solid reply. The deadline, it's next week, June the 9th. So make sure that you use that time for the participation in this activity. The second option, the second alternative, the second possibility that you have, that you can choose, it's activity 8, a genially about digital divide. In this case, what you should do is generate a game using Genially, and the game should be based on these questions. So the idea, in other words, is to, following the questions that are provided here, you come up with a gamified activity in which you, as a teacher, you try to provide a task, a game, an activity online, a gamified activity in which people could interact, could have answers and receive feedback immediately online. Here you have some tools to take into account when designing gamified tasks using Genially. And this is a second option. The time you have is also Wednesday the 9th, and that is the time you have. So you can choose activity or option 1, the discussion forum about digital divide, or a more hands-on activity that is the creation of a gamified task using Genially. As usual, you have resources, to make use of. You have the text that you can have the units from the book that you can have access to it here. You also can work with a presentation that is provided by the textbook and that I use as a reference for you. And there are 3 videos that complement what the book and what we're going to talk about in Digital Divide. Bridging the Digital Divide and the Online Community, a New Paradigm. The material, the presentation, remember that it normally provides a synthesis, a summary of what the textbook presents, and it is useful for you to complement your reading exercise, your reading activity. And the other activity, well, is the direct access, to the chapter in the book where you have the information, the main ideas, etc. Okay, so that is what our final unit presents, proposes, and I have explain what you have to do. Now, the project, if you remember, there are three stages. The first stage, I explain it as a possibility for you to decide on, okay, from the topics that we have discussed, that we have addressed in the last weeks, choose one that you feel is the one topic you consider more relevant, more pertinent, more interesting, and start thinking about a possible e-site or website. The idea, the proposal here is that you first of all choose a topic from the options that we have in our class, and then that you start thinking about some ideas that you would like to present, to share, to socialize. The first stage basically is just choosing a topic and thinking about some preliminary ideas that you would like to share. This was already done, but in case you haven't, this is a stage one. A stage two is a little bit more complete in the sense that you should think about, okay, I'm going to generate a website. And the website that I'm going to generate in this project asks from me to generate a website with 3 pages, 3 sections. One section that we are going to call page 1, the section where we introduce the topic, we describe the topic, we characterize the topic. A second page or a second section where we are going to propose a decalogue. Remember that a decalogue is a set of 10 principles or 10 guidelines or 10 tips that are given to people so that they know what to do. In this case, what you need to think is, okay, if my topic example in the previous section in page 1 was online communities, and I already described what online communities are, and I have shared some of the characteristics of online communities. Now, in page 2, in section 2, I'm supposed to provide 10 principles, tips, guidelines that as a teacher I consider relevant, necessary, important, and you explain them a little bit. Page 3, or section 3, connected to your topic, you are going to share some resources, some websites, some videos, some presentations that you find online that you feel are useful for people who are going to work with the topic that you have selected. In the example that I gave about online communities, on page 3 or in section 3 of the website, what you do is that you share with the audience selected videos, selected presentations, selected blog posts, selected documents, audio files, etc. It's a selection of online resources that anybody could use, could have a look at in case that they want to receive extra information, additional ideas, premises, suggestions, etc. For this second part of this second stage of the project, what you should do is in a Word document, write very concretely how you would work with the 3 sections or the 3 pages. So you remember that in the first part you were supposed to choose a topic and some general ideas. In the second section or moment of the project, you have to be more specific. So you say, okay, in page 1 or section 1 of this website, we consider that we are going to include the following description and the following characteristics. In the section 2, we are going to include these 10 tips and these 10 guidelines. And in section 3 or page 3, we are going to provide the following selected videos, presentations, documents, audio files, etc. This has to be ready again for next Wednesday, June the 9th. Well, that was it. I hope this video helped you with what we have to do in the 2 perspectives, the unit from our course and the project. Don't forget that we're going to meet tonight from 7 to 9, and we're going to talk and we're going to explore other additional materials. Thank you so much. I hope to see you soon. Take care.